So now it's time to jump into Market Monkey Terminal. Market Monkey is our second order flow software that we're going to be using. So we need to get comfortable and familiar with the user interface and all the buttons inside Market Monkey. Now you can do all of the same things in Market Monkey that you can do in Bookmap. However, Market Monkey is crypto specific. So it's only focusing on crypto. However, this also allows us to have a whole different set of tools that Bookmap doesn't offer because it's very crypto specific tools. And we're going to use it in the same way. We can use it for execution, just like we do Bookmap, but we can also use it for more context building as well as position building. So let's start up here. And in the course, you're going to have a link to my template. And so the first thing you would want to do is to create a new layout or just to load the template, right? So how do you do that? We're going to come to show layout overlay. And if you wanted to create a new template, you just go to create new, and then you can create it from a preset, or you can come to community and choose from a lot of different layouts that the community has built themselves. Now, if you want the beautiful layout that I created, which I definitely suggest because it has all the tools that I'm going to be talking about and the tools that we're going to be using. And you can go in here and change all the colors to fit your preference. However, I suggest you use the link in this course and open that link. And once you open that link, it'll open this layout for you. And once you have this layout open, you can come here and save layout, and then you can save layout and name it whatever you like. So now that we have the layout loaded, or you've opened a new layout, it's important to show you how to maneuver the layout, the different windows, the panes. So what do I mean by that is if you wanted to change the location of anything, you can just simply drag it out, and you can simply, this would open up the pane here. So you can split it like that. Or if you want it down here, or if you want it to the side here, you can put it over here and have something in the middle. You have a lot of flexibility on where you can put everything. You can even put it inside any one of these panes as well. So it's very flexible in how you want to view everything and setting a certain layout up a certain way so you can see what you want to see all at the same time. Also, something important to note is that you don't have to have this view all the time. So you can come here and see the blue square or the blue outline is your selected pane. And when you do that, you can come here to this button and just maximize that. So if you want to really get nitty gritty and you want to see just this view and you want to really zoom in or zoom out, you can use that. Same thing with any of these other ones. So you can come over here, select that, and you see the blue outline, and then just go to maximize that, and then you can focus on this pane alone. So it's something really cool and flexible about the layout and the views in Market Monkey, and it's very usable on many different cases. So next, let's go into showing you how to add an asset or to change an asset. So it's very simple, just like TradingView or anything else. You can come in here, type in whatever asset you want. You can kind of filter it down by what asset it is, whether it be perps or futures or spot. And you can also filter it by your exchanges. And they have a ton of different symbols in here, almost 1,300 symbols. So there's pretty much anything and everything you want in here. Next, we're going to come to the time frames. You should all know by now what these are and how to use them. Very simple. Next, here we can see that this is the heat map slider. So I have this set already. So I like it here, and it's filtered for a certain number of orders. However, you can come in here and filter that any which way you like during a session and put it back. So it's very easy to go back and forth. You also have this HD and SD button here, which is, your high definition and standard definition heat maps. So your standard definition is going to look like this. So what this is saying is that each one of these blocks is going to be a higher tick. So you can see that this block starts at 62,800 and ends at 62,825. So that means the tick size of this is $25. Now, if you go to HD, we let one load, you can see that now that tick size is only $5. So you have here 63,160 all the way to 63,165. So what is the difference between these is just the tick size. Now, if you want to use one or the other, it's up to you. It's personal preference. However, the use case is usually that you'll use the HD map when you are scalping and you're really zoomed in. And if you're really zoomed out, maybe you're on the 1 hour or 4 hour time frame, it might be easier to see things lit up like the SD map does for you. And if you see something like this, all you have to do where it doesn't load like that, all you have to do is move it to the left and it will load it. And you come back to the right and everything will be loaded. Okay. So let's turn the HD back on because I prefer the HD one. Next, we come to the candlesticks button. And this is going to be where you can change your candlesticks out to any other candlestick option that they have. So you can stay on the regular candlesticks, or you can go to the footprint clusters, footprint profiles, Heikin-Ashi, line, or TPO. Now, the only two I use is the regular candlesticks and the footprint clusters. Footprint clusters is what's going to show us the bid and ask profiles inside the candles. So you can see all the selling and all the buying inside each individual candle, and also very nicely displays the delta profile of each individual candle right on the side here. You can also see the volume and delta for each candle, but we'll go into all that later. So next up, we see the indicators. And there are a lot of indicators on here. Now, I've already chosen the best ones that we're going to use. However, there's other ones on here that you could probably find some use cases for. But again, in my typical fashion, I like to really filter out a lot of noise. So I don't like to use too many things. We're already using plenty of tools and indicators, right? So I like to pick the best of the best and just leave it at that. However, they do have the Market Monkey official indicators here, and you can also see community indicators here, where a lot of the community or regular users are creating their own scripts. So you can also have the ability to do that if you're into coding. Now, next up is the drawing tools. And unlike Bookmap, these drawing tools actually work really well. Next up is this coin option. So everything you see here, all these numbers can be either based off of coin, like number of coins or number of Bitcoin, or the actual USD value. So we can see here that you had 30 million right in the POC of this candle, 30 million sales right here. However, if you click this and go to coin, it tells you 478 Bitcoin. So that's the difference between, and it will change everything as well. Sometimes like this, it has its own selection. So I personally like to use coin because Bookmap also uses coin. So I like to keep things congruent between both of them. Now, next up is the maximize, the selected chart. Already showed you that. Again, very useful tool. Next, we see a button that hides all widget toolbars. So this is just going to hide this little toolbar here. Not a big difference, but if you need to open up some real estate, maybe you need that. Over here, again, this is your layout area where you can choose and save all your layouts. And here you have your favorite layouts. So when you come in here, let's go to personal, and you star one of your layouts, it's going to show it up there. So if you have several of them favorited, it should show you both of them here so you can switch back and forth really quickly. So if you wanted to, you could have a certain type of chart on one layout and then another type of chart on another layout and just switch through it that way. Or like what I do is I just have different tabs on the same layout. Either one's fine. So you can it's just kind of a personal preference thing there. The next button here is the toggle the object tree. So just like you have in TradingView, you have the object tree and you see everything that's open in your window. So it's just a way to hide things or close them out. And if you have a bunch of drawings, it'll also be under your object tree. So next up, we see widget here. So this is how you add a new widget. And you have a bunch of different things that you can choose from. Again, I've already added everything that I want personally. But if you want anything else in here, like the depth of market, a regular order book, you want to have another chart to put in here, you can do so here. Next, we see that we have a screenshot you can copy, download. Next, we see general settings. So this is going to be kind of your global settings. So the general settings here, basic stuff. Again, fix your time zone to match your personal time zone. Keybinds. I did change one of these keybinds, and that's the 360 drag zoom. And I changed that to be activated when you hit the right mouse. So when you click the right button on the mouse, you can zoom in with a 360, and it's very, very nice. I honestly wish every software had this because it gives you the ability to zoom in and zoom out very quickly. So if you're kind of zoomed out here, and you see price come down here and you sweep the lows and you want to come in here and you want to see the data on each one of these candles really quickly, you're able to do that. Same thing with zooming out really quick. It's a very nice feature to be able to do all that. So I absolutely love that feature. Now let's go to the themes. These are going to be all your colors of like the background, the borders, everything that you see here. And again, I've already changed those, but you can come in here and change them to whatever you like. And next buttons, basically the learn section and the Discord community. They have a great Discord. I'd definitely go over there and check it out. Over here, we see the toolbar, and you can go down here and hide the toolbar if you want just a little bit more real estate there. And you come down here to the pencil to show that toolbar once more. And that is it. That is the basics of the user interface and getting oriented with Market Monkey. In the next few lessons, we're going to go over each and every tool in here and get you briefly up to date on everything and how we set everything up and why we chose the settings that we chose for each tool.